I'm Grace Torrey, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Grace Torrey, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. I'm kind of excited for today's episode because it's a very chill, just vibing, talking about your 20s episode. And I've been running around a lot, so that's nice. We're just going to be talking about how, you know how Taylor Swift says life is just a classroom? Well, I feel like your 20s is just a dressing room, and I'm going to get into that in a second, but that's what we're going to be talking about. So I'm really excited, but of course, before I get into that, we've got to do a little life update. So yeah, before I jump in, don't forget to follow on whatever platform you're currently watching or listening on. Don't forget to follow on Instagram, TikTok, all the fun places. I have the links down below. And don't forget to share with a bestie who you think would also enjoy the podcast. We are a community of women working to become the best version of ourselves. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to join us. So yeah, for life updates, I cleaned my office yesterday, completely redid it, which probably sounds like very chill, like, okay, but as you guys know, that's not chill because I have two bunnies that live in my office and they're absolute anarchists. So they are just fighting against the society that I have formed here in this office where I am the queen. This is not a democracy. I am the head of state, the queen, the only one who has a say here, and they have to go along with it. Not that their life is that bad. They literally have their own room. But since they are such anarchists, I had to completely redo their setup for a space that's just easier for me to maintain because they like to make a mess, they like to drive me insane. But with this new setup, I'm really excited. I did it yesterday and it's been way better already. And I redid my room. My dog is in here with me, which I usually don't bring her in here with me. So I'm really excited about that. I brought her bed in here because her bed used to be in my bedroom, but she didn't use it. She just like slept with me. So I brought that in here. I redid some of the lighting, brought the candles or extra candles I had in here. And I just like it a lot more. I'm so excited to hang out in here. It's just such a vibe and I feel like I can get so much more done here, which I already have. We went and got coffee this morning and then I've just been working on getting some reels done for the other podcast just to kind of raise some awareness for it since it's new and I don't really have like a platform that relates to it like I did for this one. So it's a spooky podcast. It's all about ghosts. If you're new here, it's just me explaining ghost stories to my boyfriend who doesn't believe in ghosts. So it has a little bit of comedy. It's kind of fun. It's really lighthearted. And we talk about some really famous hauntings that he has no idea about. So if that interests you, the link is down below. It's called Haunting My Boyfriend. But that is what I've been doing all day, is getting reels ready, working on the branding for it. I did a link tree for it, just getting caught up on that. And then I'm going to film this. I'm going to film the episode for Haunting My Boyfriend. And then I have another business idea I'm working on. I know, another one, crazy. So that's really it. We're getting ready to leave on vacation. So I will probably have an episode Wednesday. But as of right now, I will take a week off. So I won't have one Sunday or Wednesday of next week. But that is subject to change. I will, if I put one up, don't be surprised. But also, if there isn't one Sunday or Wednesday, don't be surprised. I'm giving you a heads up. If it happens, it happens, but I'm not going to pressure myself. I don't really know exactly what days we're going to be gone because we were originally going to be gone for a week, and now we're talking about not going as long. So, I don't know. I just want to give you a heads up that if I don't post, it's because I'm gone. If I do post, it's because we didn't take as long of a vacation. But either way, I think I might just take a break. It just depends on how burnt out I'm feeling and if I'm able to fully come back from that in time to post another episode. So yeah, I'm just feeling very, very burnt out in life, in my career, in every single aspect that you can possibly think of. So that's a little bit of what this episode is about. But yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. So let's go ahead and jump on in and talk about it. So as you guys know, your 20s are a time for experimentation, and I feel like previous generations didn't really have that same luxury because you were expected to have a lot more figured out. The societal pressures of getting married, having kids, and doing that all of that before you turn like 30 was way heavier than it is now, and it's definitely still a thing, especially in more religious areas, but it's not near as stressful as it once was. So for me, I realized pretty early on that everyone in my life wanted me to have a career, have my life figured out, not be job hopping, not be still questioning really anything. And if I was, not like do anything about it, just kind of push it to the side, you know, have way more figured out than I do. And for a while, I kind of resented a lot of people for that, because these are people that I'm friends with, some of my family, people that I thought, like, why are they telling me that I need to not change up every so often? But I realized it's because they love me and they don't want me to do something detrimental to my life. And in their eyes, not having it figured out immediately was detrimental during their generation. So one of the things I studied in college was communities. So we talked a lot about the differences in generation and how that affects leadership and the world and societies. And so I have learned to really think in terms of generations. And obviously my grandma's in one generation, my mom's in one generation, my sister's in another generation. I'm in the same generation as my sister, but she's in 97 and I'm in 99, and I feel like there's so much difference between the two of us in the way that we think, in the way that we act, in the way that we do all these things. And I definitely think that it's a difference of generations. Even in that short amount of time, there has been a huge shift between people wanting to do what is typically traditional and have everything figured out very young, and people who are taking their time. Our quote-unquote generation of women and people in general put more weight in doing something that they enjoy versus having stability, loyalty in their career, money. We won't stick around if we don't enjoy it. And that is much different than the people before us. Like, generationally, people would stay in careers for 20 years because of the stability and hate every single day of their life for 20 years. And I cannot fathom that. And that is something I promised myself I would never do. But it's hard for everyone to understand that is not in our generation. So I just wanted to say that if you are not just in your career, but in any aspect of your life, if you are looking for a change, if you want to move, if you want to take a risk, and people aren't behind it, it's because they probably don't understand, and it's coming from a place of love, because they want you to be okay and they want you to have stability and they want you to not have to suffer or go through hard times. But our generation really values the risk is worth it. Like, we value risk, high reward, whereas they value balance and stability. So that being said, life is a dressing room. And what I mean by that is every single relationship, every single career, every single city you live in, every single friend group, any aspect of your life that makes up who you are and what you do on a daily basis is a clothing item that you're trying on. And if you don't like it, you take it off and you try a different one. And that is how I have started viewing life. That if I don't like something, I'm just trying it on. That's what your 20s are for. Your 20s are for not knowing what you're doing in 6 months, not knowing what you're doing in a year, not knowing what you're doing tomorrow. Your 20s are for making mistakes and coming out of them. Your 20s are for thinking that being so sure that your life was going to lead you down a certain path, and then realizing that that's not what you're meant to be doing and changing it up. You know, your 20s are an experimental time, and it's funny because people tell you that, but they also expect you to figure it all out. Like, they tell you, hey, your 20s are for experimenting. And then they're like, but why don't you have everything figured out by 23? And it really gives, like, a lot of people whiplash, including myself, because, like, what do you mean? Like, still don't really have any idea what's going on. I was talking to my mom the other day, and she was trying to kind of say, like, you know, 10 years from now, do you want to still be in this situation? Like, what if this doesn't work out? And I'm, like, looking at her like, why am I worried about 10 years from now? What if it does work out? Like, I'm not even thinking about 6 months from now. I'm thinking about right now, and I don't know what's going to happen in 6 months, and I'm learning to be comfortable with that, and I'm okay with that. I am content with not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow and not knowing where life's going to take me tomorrow. And everything, when you're in your 20s, everything is a huge deal, okay? You don't have money for rent, massive deal. And it's probably going to happen next month, and it's going to be just as much of a big deal next month. You need a new tire for your car, huge deal, massive deal, the biggest deal. Like, everything that happens in your life that would be considered just like an inconvenience to a normal person seems to feel like your world is falling apart, and life has a personal vendetta against you, and everything's a sign from the universe that things are working or they're not working, or you need to change things up. And that's just how your 20s are. You're gonna feel overwhelmed with every little thing that happens, and you're just learning that it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. And you know, maybe you end up getting evicted. Obviously, no one wants to get evicted. Obviously, people try not to. But that's just redirection. And in that moment, it's really bad. Yes, you're gonna feel like it's the end of the world, but it's just redirection. Every little thing that happens in your life is redirection. Maybe you get fired. That's redirection. Maybe you get dumped. That's redirection. Maybe you realize that moving all the way across the country away from your family was a bad decision, and now you want to move home, but you don't have a job back home. You don't know where you're going to live. You don't know how you're going to afford it. Your savings account is empty. That is a redirection. It may be stressful in the moment, but you are building the blocks of your life, and you are trying on different clothing items to see which outfit you want to wear for the rest of your life. And this isn't to say that 20 years from now you don't decide you no longer like the shirt and you want to get a new one. You want to go right back into the store, change out whatever, change out your career, change out your where you live, change out whatever, and then wear something new out, you know? Like, picturing life like a dressing room has just really, really, really taken a lot of pressure off of me, because everything that I decide I don't like is not a big deal. Like, when you're looking in the mirror and you look at a shirt and you take 5 different pictures of it and you send it to all of your friends, and you think about all the other colors it comes in, and you think about if you have anything that matches with it, and you think about where you're gonna wear it, and you do all that for 20 minutes, and then you decide, I only have this amount of money in my bank account. Maybe I like the other shirt more because I can't take both. And then you wear the other shirt out. That's life. That's you deciding which job you want if you have 2 job offers, and which one's going to work out with your schedule, your life, your animals, your relationships, and which one's going to work best with the money that you already have, and how often can you, or how can you fit that into your long-term career goal. There are so many different scenarios that you can consider to be a part of this dressing room analogy, and that's why I really, really, really like it and use it more often than not. So I just wanted to leave this thought with you. I wanted to just kind of lift some of that stress off of you. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like you don't know what's going on, you're feeling like everything that you do is a huge deal and is going to impact you for the rest of your life, it probably will, but not in the way that you think. It's not going to ruin your life. It's not going to hurt you. I mean, maybe it will hurt you, but not permanently. It's shaping you into the best person that you can possibly be and making you the best version of yourself. So everything happens for a reason. I know you don't want to hear that. And I'm not saying like, oh, everything is a sign. I'm saying that when you go through things, they are shaping you into the person you're meant to be. Because you can't change the person you're meant to be consciously, because you don't know who you're meant to be. You don't know what your life path is meant to be. Like, you can have inklings, you can have intuitions, of course intuitive thoughts, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You can choose the path that you go down, but at the end of the day, you have no idea what's going to happen and who you're meant to become until you reach the end of your life and you look back and say, oh, okay, I'm I was meant to be this person. So everything that happens is shaping you into that person, and you won't know it until you get all the way through and say, wait, okay, I get it. So I hope that made sense. This is definitely a way shorter episode. I am sorry. We're just a little overwhelmed. We're a little burnt out. But I felt like this was a really important topic to talk about. It was really like on my heart to like talk to you guys about it. And I hope that it eased some of your anxiety with going back to school and getting closer and closer to the holidays, and everyone just kind of, I don't know, the whole world is feeling burnt out right now. Every single person I've talked to has felt very like burnt out and agitated and just not great. So hopefully this helps you and helps you think about how life is really not that serious and everything's fine and we're all gonna be fine. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to follow and all the other things I mentioned earlier. I upload every single Sunday and Wednesday. I will see you guys in Wednesday's episode. I love you so much. If you're watching this on the Sunday it comes out, I hope you have a great night. If you're watching this any other day, I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or night. I love you so much, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.